All right, what's up, guys? So here we are back on the Living the Dream People of Austin podcast. And today we have Dante Gibson, real estate developer and entrepreneur with us. And we're going to get to hear a little bit about his dreams and goals and how we can help him out. Dante, how you doing?
Hey, I'm good, man. How you doing?
Doing well, doing well. Thank you for
Mhm.
asking. So, we like to just jump right into it. So if you could start by telling us a little bit about your family, where you're from, and some of the stuff you like to do for fun.
Okay. Yeah, man. Let me see. I'm from Fayetteville, North Carolina, born and raised. Uh, and my family consists. I moved out to Texas, really by not by choice because I was in the military. So I had to move out here because the military sent me to Fort Hood. I retired out in 2009. Uh, Travel around the world in the military, United States, wherever you want to think about in the military. That's what I did. Two combat tours in Iraq. Um, but my family is kind of my heart. So we got uh, my wife, married, 18 years coming up in September. Uh, I had three boys, and also kind of a hidden gem in our life is me and my wife took custody of her brothers and sisters when they were kids, teenagers, because their grandmother passed away. So at age of 25, I took custody of her 17-year-old, 16-year-old, 17-year-old brother, 16-year-old sister, 12-year-old brother, and another 11-year-old brother. So our family grew. So when we got to Austin, they are married and they all have children now. They all have about 3 or 4 kids apiece.
Yeah.
So my family has grown. So I'm kind of uh, a patriarch of a huge legacy that we built in here. So it's a wonderful thing for my family. So what I like to do for fun is, man, I mean, I love business, man. So I love teaching. I love educating. I love talking about business. So other than that, outside of that, man, me and my wife go walking every day, go to the gym every day. We try to stay healthy as possible because I believe that you have to be healthy as well when you're wealthy. So that's a big key for me.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I love it. I love it. And so you said we know you're a real estate developer, but tell us a little bit more about that, kind of your journey.
Oh yeah, okay. So
And
so I've been in real estate now probably 40, about 15 years. I started off as an investor, like most people do, wholesaling, uh, running around trying to find deals, cold calling, knocking on knocking on doors, going to the courthouse, picking up uh, people that were foreclosure list, and all these things, different things I was doing back in 2009, 2008 when the market crashed. Um, that did pretty good for me. Then I ventured into being an agent, uh, which was a pretty good decision to make at this time. But it was a big buyer's market, so really people wasn't selling their homes. People wasn't. Um, they were selling their homes, trying to get out of debt, but there wasn't a lot of buyers besides investors, and they was buying like 30 cents on the dollar. So, we definitely hit that market really well. And then I went to as uh, from agent to commercial agent. I worked with a lot of commercial developers, a lot of people that were in the industry, big time in the industry that was making a lot of money in the commercial development space. I got my foot wet in that. That was pretty great to do. Um, and then I started sitting down with different people and getting advice. And one of the biggest advice I got was from Mark Cuban at a luncheon in Dallas. It was awesome. Uh, Pulled him aside, asked him like, what could I do to improve myself as an agent? Because I want to get into the luxury real estate market. And the advice he gave me was profound. He told me that you're swimming in the same pond that everyone else is swimming in. You need to get into the different pond. Everyone's chasing a 3% commission. Everyone's chasing, trying to be the best buyer's agent, trying to be the best listing agent. And that pool of so many agents, how are you going to set yourself apart? Because wealthy people tell their children to get a license, or tell their niece to get a license, or tell their nephew to get a license, and use that in the family, keep that money in the family. So how do you break through that market? He was like, you jumping in the wrong pond. He said, you smart enough, you can just jump into the other pond, which the other pond is real estate development, real estate investor, not investor as far as small investments here and there, but real estate, big investments, jump into the development side. And I decided to jump into the development side, man, with that advice. But it took me a couple of years, man. I had to read, I had to study, I had to get educated. I think probably the biggest issue is people think they can just jump into it without actually doing their homework. So I went and did that. I set some time apart. It took me 2 years to get into that commercial development side. I did talk to you about some things before. I went to Atlanta and got with a brother who was running a commercial office building, and he was failing. It was failing completely. No tenants, no nothing. I think it was like at maybe 10% occupancy when I got there. I told him, I said, hey, man, let me come in. Let me partner with you. Let me improve your office space. I'm a real estate guy. At this time, I didn't have my license in Atlanta, so I just kind of let my license go at this time. I'm like, I can help you. I can help you grow your office space. Just let me come in. And you can pay me, and as an equity partner, you don't have to pay me monthly. You don't have to pay me anything. You don't have to, I was willing to work for free to show this guy that I was serious about building up his company and building up his office space. I went in there, man. We turned it around. Turned it around within a year. He was at 80% occupancy. He just blew it up. It was insane. From then, he wanted to partner with me on deals going forward. Like, he was like, "Hey, go find something else. I believe I can do this with you." So that was a rich guy that was willing to put his money behind me without me not having any money at this time. Especially in commercial development, you got to have mostly 20 to 30% down, to get into this space. Yep. So we jumped into. We went and looked at hotels. Trying to redevelop hotels. We were just really going at it, and we actually worked on a deal. So in the commercial space, I had a deal in Jackson, Mississippi that was working on a new construction project in Baltimore, and then we had another new construction project in Fort Valley, Georgia, which was 3 projects we had going on that was probably about $90 million in debt, which is great in real estate to get $90 million worth of debt. But we had the mayors, we had city council, we had people that we were meeting with to push the agenda of building hotels in certain cities, in HBCU city. And then the pandemic struck, and it just destroyed the hotel industry as a whole. The hospitality industry was destroyed. No bailout money for us in the hospitality space. So our business model at this time took a hit. We couldn't get lending, funding, which just closed down. They locked it completely. And I had to revamp my business model. What can I do next? What can I get into next? Because I got to keep this going. I can't just sit around because of a pandemic happened that I lose sight on what's the bigger picture here, what's the bigger legacy. So I went into I went and got my license back. My wife got her license. We was like, look, we got investors. We got to pay back. We got people. We got to show that we were real. We were real. Wasn't really taking money to lose money. Didn't want anyone to lose money that invested with us. So we raised over $200K in seed money for these ventures, and the thing fell apart completely. And one thing people need to know about commercial real estate is, when you get ready to buy commercial real estate, you have to put up a lot of upfront money, like pay for appraisals. So we had appraisals for 3 properties. You have to pay for franchise fees for 3 of those properties, which range from 25 to 50K a piece. Environmentals, surveys, travel. So you're accumulating expenses as you go, and then when the deal fall apart, the lender don't give all that upfront money back that you lost. They just close the deal and you lost it. So that was a major hit for my investors to take on. That was a major blow for them because they really fell in love with me and not the deal so much. And I always tell people, fall in love with the deal, not the person behind it, because things can go wrong. I don't want you to be sour at me. But either way, me and my wife hunkered down. We was like, we put our head down and said, we got people to pay back. Let's try to get this $200K back to those people. You never want to leave that reputation out there that you're doing bad business, which is, we couldn't help it. It wasn't our fault. But we went back to work. We got our real estate license back last year in 2020, May. My wife was at school. She met a broker and she was like, she's like, babe, I think this broker really, like, he has the same fire you have. I think y'all should move. And we met over Zoom and we talked, and he was like, hey man, you're a fit for my office. Let's come in, let's work it out. We did builder's walk because he worked with developers only. Just the great thing about this brokerage, they work with developers only. So they exclusively work with developers. They don't work with anyone. They don't do resales. They work with new construction, developers only. Off-market listings. During this time, they needed off-market. Everybody wanted new construction. Nobody wanted to do resale because they were scared of COVID-19. So, man, me and my wife jumped into that, got a listing within the first 2 weeks. And we took that listing. I had to go and rehab the house because it was a bank foreclosure. The bank was like, look, we just need to sell it. I was like, well, it's incomplete. I can fix it. I can work for you. I hire a contractor. I'll fix it. And man, we fixed it. We fixed it up, sold the house for the highest price in the neighborhood. Then we ended up going to, I went to talk to him, but we went and did a builder's walk. Go back. I went and did a builder's walk, and I was talking to a guy who was a lender in our office, and I was like, man, I can do this. This is nothing. Like, they build these houses in Austin. I can do this. You know, that's in my mind. I'm right. All that's funneling in my mind. I'm like, yo, I can do this. This is easy. So let me figure out how to do this. So I looked at him. I said, hey man, how does this work? What kind of construction loan do I need? What do I need to buy a lot? What do I need to do? How much money would I need? And he was like, hey man, he didn't really have words because he just knew that my mind was racing. So he was like, hey, reach out to Justin, which is my real estate broker. He was like, reach out to Justin and see if he can help you and see if he can lead you to talk to someone. I said, okay. So right then and there, I texted him, hey man, look, I'm walking through a builder's walk and I believe I can do this. I like, who do I need to talk to? It was like, hey, go talk to Zach. I was like, oh, the bank that I just got the listing from, Zach? He was like, yes, he'll help you. He'll tell you what to do. So I texted Zach right away, hey, can I have a meeting with you? He was like, come by my office tomorrow morning and let's talk. I was like, okay. So I dressed all up. I got nice and dappy and, you know, put on my cleanest suit I could find and dust off the shoes. And because normally I don't wear dress shoes, but I dust off the dress shoes. I got really nice and looking. And I went into the office, man, they had on t-shirts, jeans. I was like, man, I'm way overdressed for this meeting. But hey, I was like, I'm dressed to impress my first meeting with him. So normally we talked on the phone, we communicated through email and text. So we never met each other face to face after working for each other for a month, after working for him for a month on his house. I went in there, I said, hey man, how can I help you? Do you have any other projects that I can jump on that you see that I'm GCing this house here? Do you have any more projects I can jump on to learn the game? He was like, man, you're doing such a good job. I know we ain't sold this house yet, but guess what? I got 7 properties in Lago Vista. How about I'm gonna make this deal sweet for you? I'm just gonna give you the money to buy the 7 properties, and then I'm gonna give you the money to do the new construction on them. So, okay, so you just gonna give me 7 houses, 7 lots, build 7 houses, and I have 0 experience. Just because I did a commercial real estate development deal, and it failed, but you're gonna give me these houses, and I have no idea what I'm doing. Like, yeah, I'm gonna give it to you. I'm gonna give you, let me see, $580,000 for the lot purchase, all 7 lots, and then I'm gonna give you construction loan on top of that for another 1.9 million. And I was like, Zach, yeah, let me go home and talk to my wife because I ain't agreeing to anything. I don't know what I'm doing. I like, this is unreal. And he was like, no money down though. He's like, I'm telling you, no money down, no interest payments. Just take these headaches off my hand. And we'll be an equity partner. You keep 70%, I keep 30. Hey, whatever. Hey, just build these houses, get these houses off my back. I said, I don't know what I'm doing. I said, all right, cool. I came home, talked to my wife. My wife, she was blown away. She was like, what you gonna do? I called Justin. Justin said, hey man, see if you can take one house at a time. Because new builders only do first house they do is one.
Yeah.
I was like, I said, man, I'm gonna have to take all 7. I know this. I looked at my wife, I have to do all 7 at the same time. I don't know how I'm gonna do it. And sure enough, man, I called him back. I said, yeah, I'm gonna do it. He said, okay, it's all 7 or nothing. He said, it's all 7 or nothing. I said, man. I said, yeah, sign me up. All 7. I'll take it. And within 3 weeks, we closed on the lots, man, and been in real estate development ever since, man. So my first deal was 7 houses to build. And we're in the process of building those houses right now. So that's how I got into real estate development. Sorry for the long story, but it's kind of.
Nah, man, I love it.
It's kind of interesting story, though.
Yeah, no, there was so much in there. I love how you like had that failed commercial development deal, but you were like, okay, can't sit on my butt, got to get back in the game. Yeah. I think a lot of people stop at that failure right there, and then just in life and typical real estate investors who are successful, they didn't stop, but all the people who got burned by real estate and stopped and had to have a bad taste in their mouth, it's because they didn't persevere. So I really like that. I also like your mindset towards who do I need to talk to? What's the next step I need to take? Just going after it, taking that action.
Yeah.
Because man, a lot of people don't. And it's an inspiring thing. But so now we know a little bit about how you got to the point where you are in your development business. What's your underlying motivation behind all this? Like what keeps you going?
All right. So the underlying motivation in this is from, people always say, what's your why? You got to have a why. You hear a lot of business gurus and motivational speakers tell you what's your why. And I believe my why is very clear. It's something that's eternal, right? Internal. It's an eternal why. It's nothing that someone can teach me, right? Nobody had to teach me the desire, right? So it's something that's internally built. When I was 17, my grandfather owned a concrete company, and I went to work with him during the summer after I finished school. After we finished school, we go work with him during the summer to earn money back in high school. And in between football and off season, I had to work. I came from a poor family. We didn't have money. We didn't have. It was very, very small town, very poor. So I went to work for him. And first day I got out there doing the concrete, I didn't understand the hard labor aspect of it. My mind went to, who pays these guys? Who's the owner that pays these guys to get out here and do this hard work?
Yeah.
That's what I want to do. It wasn't I appreciate my granddad. He did this for 40, 50 years until he died doing concrete. I appreciate it. My cousins and my other family members are in concrete, the business. And I just didn't see it that way. I just like, okay, who's behind the money? That was my goal. Like, I don't want to do this manual labor. I want to do the money. And that's been my desire ever since. So it's something that's built inside of me. It was nothing that I, even to today, like it's something that's built in me that has me going. There's no, my wife, she's my wife, but if she wasn't my wife, it'd still be this desire to do it. My kids, like people have to have something on the deep inside of them to make them want to keep going. It just can't be family. It just can't be mama. It just can't be daddy. It got to be something on the inside that's driving them, something that's deeper than just a surface why, you know, because the gurus will tell you, well, write down what's your why, and they'll write down their wife, the kids, their mom, their dad, and it leaves it at that. And then when the mom and kids and wife don't support them, they quit because it's not deeper. It got to go deeper than just this surface why, you know, something that has to be driven. And, you know, I think a lot of this stuff is built in you, something that, you know, I believe that that the Lord has placed something in certain people to do this work, like innovators, and like we would never have electricity. It wasn't for someone who never quit and kind of dug into that drive from within, because everyone told him it was crazy. You know, everyone said that that it wouldn't work, but he had something that was inside of him that kept him going, and that's what I believe. That's the driving force in my business and in my life is something internal and eternal. I always say eternal because, you know, I believe in Christ and I'm an advocate believer. So I believe it's always as eternal and internal that I live the way I do and move the way I move. So
dude, love it. I love it. And it's something that you don't usually hear when it comes to your why. But I mean, it's true if you're only doing it for your family, or like even when you got to the point where your family's taken care of, now you just stop and you rest on your laurels, and then it's like you get life just gets out of whack and get depressed and stuff. So
yeah,
it's always good to have that intrinsic and eternal motivation. Love it. All right, so let's go into some of your dreams, lifelong goals. Like, is this something like where you're living the dream right now? You have some stuff you're shooting for? Like, what do your dreams and goals look like?
okay, so look, my yeah, this ain't the well, I got, you know, 7 houses and I run a multimillion-dollar company, and I'm living a dream, right? For most people will stop. But I have something deeper. You know, I have a deeper purpose, a deeper goal. So yeah, man, we live in a dream. I'll be honest with you. Never thought it would turn into this. So, but that's not going to stop there. Like I'm trying to get within the next year, trying to get to where I'm building neighborhoods, because if I started off with one house, most people, they jump to just two houses, they jump to 3 houses. And I start off with 7. So my next goal is to jump to 20 in next year. And do it fast and not really just slow moving. Like, I don't believe in slow movement. I kind of think 5 steps ahead. What, you know, working on this deal, close this deal. Okay, what's around the corner? What can I do next? What's going to be the next venture? And you stay in that mindset of what's next, so that you won't be just stagnated. And when this deal is over, most people say, "Oh, I'm gonna enjoy my fruits. I'm gonna just go to Vegas, or I'm gonna go on a trip to an island." And I believe in vacation. I believe in having fun. But at the end of the day, I got to have my next steps lined up for what I'm gonna do next. So look, my dream is to build neighborhoods, stay a small company. We don't want to go to the big boy level like a DR Horton or KB Homes. We want to keep it because we want to be able to control. We don't want to put up just the same home on each corner like tract homes. We want to be able to do specialty neighborhoods, maybe 20 to 25 homes in each neighborhood. And then get back into commercial development. And I believe that that's the residual income, that's the legacy building income, that's the apartment complexes. I believe in I believe the office space is completely gone as a business model. I don't think people will virtually do this. I think the way the world is going now, that you have to evolve, and I don't think office space, leasing the commercial space, so feeling like I can put an office there, is where it's at. Even gyms are kind of a dying breed because people got at-home workouts where they get just as big at home.
Yeah.
With virtual
Yep.
gyms, you know, they
Right.
like, so you got to catch up with this is why you got to stay 5 steps ahead or 10 steps ahead, because you have to make moves based off the projection of where the curve is going. And sometimes most people stay behind the curve and trying to make decisions on that. But you got to see where the market is going. You got to be very kind of, I would say, use this term, more like prophetic in the way that you're thinking. You're thinking past what the market says. You're looking around the corner and down the road, and you know you got to think that far as a vision is concerned. So my next goal, man, is to build a neighborhood, then get back into commercial development, build hotels. Not really hotels. I wouldn't say hotels, but apartments. I'm not getting in the hotel industry ever again. It's a dying breed too. Like seriously,
Yeah.
it's a dying industry. You know, they say it's been around for a long time, but really it's some business models fail. And it's a dying business. So my goal is to get into commercial development as far as building housing. Housing is going to be where it's at. We don't have enough housing on the market. So, and apartments. So maybe down the road, a couple of years, I'll build an apartment complex
I feel that.
instead of buying one. You know, so
Building a neighborhood
So-
next year, building an apartment
Yeah.
complex in the next couple of years.
yeah, you know, and try to go all out, man. I'm not talking about no 20 unit. I'm talking about 300 unit, 500 unit apartment complex. I'm not trying to. You know, I believe in that you can have bigger than what you think you can have. Like you can strive for bigger. And, you know, we always start small. We start off with a duplex, and we be like so happy with a duplex. But why didn't you just shoot for the bigger one? Why didn't you shoot for a 100 unit apartment complex? Why you shoot for the little duplex around the corner and say, "Oh, I'm good with my rent, and this I'm gonna rent this one out, live in this one." Like that's cool. And it's so small thinking. Like, think bigger. If you can't, you know what I mean, just think bigger and try to figure out how to get in that space.
That 10x thinking.
Yeah, that's 10x thinking, 10x, you know. Yeah, Grant Cardone was cool.
Yeah.
He was cool to meet too, face to face, you know, kick it up with him, man.
Yeah.
That was cool. But yeah, man, sometimes you got to 10x your thinking, you got to, 100x your thinking, you got to think bigger than where you at and think bigger than your experience. Like most people say, well, I don't have experience, so let me start off with a small project. And the same amount of energy that you consume in this small project, you're going to consume in a bigger project. You're going to have the same energy, right? So, I mean, I learned this in this building these houses. It's like if I would have did one house, it would have took the same exact energy, the same exact learning. So why not learn with all 7? So
absolutely.
So that's my dream goal, man.
I feel that. I love it. I love it. So if somebody were to help you with your dream right now, how would they do it? And who would it be?
Oh, man. So our next step is building teams, man, because right now, me and my wife is a one-man show. So we kind of handling this as a small 2-man crew. Our next step is kind of build executive team, acquisition teams to go out, scout properties, go out, look for properties. As an agent, yeah, you can go out and look for properties, but I need somebody deeper than an agent. You know, I don't need somebody that's willing to come in and not just be an agent. I don't need agents. I need someone that's willing to get grind, go behind the scenes to the owner and not just try to list their property, but try to figure out how can we partner together to build a community. You know, most of these lands are for sale because of generation. They had the land in their generation. The granddaddy passed away, or the grandmother passed away, and they have this bulk of land, and they don't know what to do with it. Real estate developers come in and partner with the owner and leverage the land for the loan and pay them out as the development goes in payments. And I need people to be willing to do that groundwork. So right now, man, we're looking to bring people on the team, teach them about real estate, teach them about what we do, executive assistants. I believe that building a team is better, because when I'm down and I can't go out anywhere, or if I get sick, or if I'm in the hospital or something, God forbid, but those things happen. If you're a one-man crew, man, your whole business go away.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? You can't afford to take a vacation. You can't afford to get sick. You can't afford, because your business just falls apart. And one of the biggest advice I got was, you need to build a team as fast as possible.
Yeah.
So, and then put people around you that's smarter than you. You know, I don't know everything in the real estate space. I'm not an attorney. I don't know real estate law. I'm not an accountant. I can't tell you how to move your money, what to move your money into. You know, like I stay in my lane. I don't try to learn outside of that. I'm not a creator, Instagram content creator. So, I mean, man, I'm not a website builder. I would never get on GoDaddy or all these Wix and try to build me a website.
Yeah.
I hired a company, a firm to do that. You know, I hire out people that are smarter than me, because I'm not trying to be a one-man crew. So I believe that's the next step, is for us in order for us, what we need help with immediately is people that's willing to work and not looking for a paycheck, because they look for immediate gratification with a paycheck. They need to see that this is a long-term thing. You might not get paid for 3 weeks, but you gain way more experience and knowledge in this industry. You know, it's not about just the immediate gratification of a paycheck. I don't need people that need a paycheck. I need people that want to learn this through experience and not chasing just a paycheck. Because, you know, as an agent, man, you don't get paid till you closing. So you do all this legwork, all this work up to a closing that you don't get a check until you close. So you work probably 120 hours on a project and don't get a dime if the deal fall apart. They decide not to buy the property, or they decide to go with another. They just somehow the deal fall apart before you go to closing. And you work all these time for free, but you gain so much knowledge and information and experience in that time. And I believe people are out here chasing paychecks, to be honest with you.
Oh yeah.
And
99% of people.
Yeah, and not experience. So that's kind of what we need, man. We need some people that really want to do this, want to learn how to do it, and not willing to chase a paycheck. Don't call me like on week one and be like, hey boss, I need some money. You want to help me pay my rent? And I'm like, no, this is part-time. This ain't full-time. You can work me for full-time, and I'm mistreating you against labor laws. I ain't trying to do that. But at the end of the day, I do need some people that want to tag along and get this wealth of information and knowledge and soak it up, and willing to put in some work for free and then get the reward on the back end.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I'm looking for.
That's
more like, I don't want no interns though. You know? I don't want no 18, 19-year-old kids. You know, I'll be honest with you. That's I got 21-year-old sons. They can't work for me either.
Yeah. I feel that.
I need somebody with some experience, some life experience, or even they went to college and they graduated college. They experienced some kind of life, some kind of hardship. You know, my kids are spoiled, so they ain't experienced no hardship yet. Yeah.
I got you. All right. So way people can help you is either referring people that are good for your team or joining your team.
Yeah, correct.
Awesome. Sounds good. All right. So now we're moving into the final section of the podcast. It's just Thriving 3. It's 3 quick questions about yourself, because typically we bring people on who are chasing their dreams and are either thriving or trying to thrive. So we try to figure out what you're doing so we can do it too. So the first one I'm going to ask you is, do you have a favorite book? And if you do, what is it?
Man. I'm an advocate reader. I believe wealth in reading. You know, your brain is like a computer, so whatever you put in it is what it spits out. So most people put in reality TV. They put in bad food. They put in just junk, news, CNN, Fox News, they whatever the case is, that's what they soak in, and then they spit out junk. They don't spit out any knowledge. They don't spit out anything. The reality TV is the game. It's the goal. It's what they watch all day long, and that's a fantasy. They don't know that is scripted TV. There's no reality. Once you put a camera in front of somebody, the reality goes away. If you take a picture of yourself, even selfies, and take pictures, you're going to pose. So just imagine you walking around with a camera all day, you posing all day. Everything is scripted TV. It's not reality TV because they don't really go after real reality. Those are fiction stars, they don't really go after the reality. What's reality, right? So, and the reason why I know I work with those guys, I work in Atlanta, I work with a lot of those up and coming movie stars, and they all looking for acting. They failed at a music position or music star, and now they jump into acting. And they figure reality TV is a way of getting acting. But I decided not to feed myself that trash and that junk for years. So I began to read. I began to read about 20 to 30 books a year, and all sorts of books, not just business books, not just. I read about politics. I read about, because I believe you need, as an entrepreneur, you need to know about politics and policies, and because it affects you as a business owner. I read about history. I just open my mind up to read these books. So obviously, I could say the Bible is my favorite book to read, but that's the bias. If you're a Christian, you should read it. So let me go a little bit further than that. I would say I'm reading this book over. I read this book probably once a year, or maybe twice a year. It's a book I picked up in 1999. He wrote it in 97. So it's Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki.
Oh yeah.
That's the first book on everybody's reading list they pick up, but I think they read it once. There's so much wealth of information in there that it's a book that you have to constantly keep reading. It's a generational book. It transcends. It goes from generation to generation. It's not a book that's for the right now, because a lot of authors write books for right now moments. I don't want to, even if I'm inspired, I done wrote 3-4 books already. They're on Amazon, but those are right now books. Now our goal is to write generational books. How can I transcend a generation? How can someone pick up my book 20 years from now and be like, dude, this book is still on time. We're still going through these times today. With Rich Dad Poor Dad, it does that. It transcends through generation, right? So in 99, when I first read Rich Dad Poor Dad, the information in that changed my thinking. So every year after that, I would read it, and it'd be something else that changed my thinking. And, it just constantly changed my thinking. So today, me and my wife, man, I read that book probably 30 minutes a day out loud. I believe in reading out loud 30 minutes a day. It improves your vocabulary, I'm a country kid. Like I said, I grew up in a small town, so vocabulary is you go to my hometown, it'll be like, what did they just say? It sound uneducated. It don't sound, I mean, it's educated for them where they at, but it sounds uneducated. So I read out loud 30 minutes a day to myself or even to my wife. And we just going through Rich Dad Poor Dad again, man. Just going through it again. And man, it's so much information, man. It's so, for even the times we're in today. So I don't know how he wrote a generational book like that would transcend through generations, but that's my favorite book of all times.
Love it.
And I read it twice a year, so it's a banger. It's one of those leave your head scratching.
Oh yeah.
Man, and you find yourself jumping into employee, self-employee. Even if you're a business owner and investor, you find yourself dipping back into this side because you don't hire the right people. Your mentality is different in this room. So even in what I'm doing now, sometimes I find myself jumping back to the employee side, to where instead of being the boss, I'm almost being an employee to my own business. and like
Yeah.
no.
Yep. Yep.
You know.
Yeah.
So that's my favorite book.
There's this new book that came out that is kind of in touch with you needing to like build out a team and stuff. It's called Exit Rich.
Yeah.
And the girl, I forget what her name is, but she actually wrote all the, or she wrote a lot of the Rich Dad Poor Dad series with Robert. And she was like
Okay.
in their company. And I know this because she was just on the Bigger Pockets podcast. But yeah, Exit Rich.
Okay.
Maybe something you
I'm
want to check out.
Yeah, I'll check it out, man.
Sure.
Thanks for the information, man.
Yeah,
I'll
of
check
course.
it out, definitely.
Of course.
Definitely check it out.
And what is one way you like to care for yourself? When you're stressed out, when things are rough up here, what do you do?
Okay, so I believe in working out. I believe in decompressing, going looking at nature, going walking, getting back to centering yourself. Take a deep breath, go walking. I mean, I walk it and I go to Zirkle Park downtown Austin. I walk, I look at the tall buildings, I look at nature, and you realize that your world is so small and everything is so big in this world. And your issues are very minute and very small when the world and the whole scheme of things, how it operates, is bigger. And you're looking at the beauty of everything that's outside, outside of you, bigger than you. So I think, man, I go out to the lake, I sit outside of the lake. I always do things to take stress off as far as mental, because the worst thing is that you can do is break down mentally in running your company and having stress and not really know how to maintain that. Just, you picking up a donut or you picking up something sweet, thinking that would do it, but it's only a short-term relief. Like, or you'll go smoke weed or do drugs or some kind of drink alcohol to try to numb that mental break that you're having or that stress, and it becomes just a Band-Aid. It has no effect. It's very small. It don't increase you. It don't do anything. It don't bring any value to you. So I believe that most people in my space, they go through mental breaks and they want to pick up habits, bad habits. They go back to what they used to instead of trying something different.
Yeah.
Our brain is basically built off memory. So if you constantly going back and you have mental breaks, you're constantly going back to the same thing because your muscle memory will send you back there. And you have to retrain that muscle memory. You have to go out and do something else and figure out a way to maintain that. Walks is definitely the kicker, because as soon as you start walking, you release oxytocins and you get dopamine. Man, all your brain activity begin to release, and man, it's just a wonderful feeling, man, once you start taking those steps. Not just walking around your house in the four corners of your house, man. Oh, I'm talking about getting outside.
Oh yeah.
Get some vitamin D, get the sun beaming on your head, and you'll realize, man, how easy the stress will fall off at that time.
I love it. Take walks. Okay, what is one action step you could take right now to get to your dreams of either building the neighborhood next year, which you might already have lined up, or doing the apartments in the next couple of years?
Action step. Okay, so yeah, I see that.
You might be doing them all already, but if there was something else you could do.
Man, action step, man. Look, I'm telling you, a lot of gurus always tell you to get up early. Beat your competition early. And I don't believe in beating your competition early, because you get up early just because you get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and like you up at 4 and everybody else is still asleep. Like, you're gonna beat your competition. That's you're still an employee at that mindset thinking. So let's stop jumping up at 4 o'clock in the morning thinking that you're gonna beat your competition.
Yeah.
You have to create your own competition, right? So my next action step is not to defeat my competition, is to outdo my competition by recreating by certain developments that we do or certain ideas that we have. We implement those ideas and not just trying to destroy the competition. We want to. There's a guy I'm out there building with now. He's one of my good friends, and he's a builder and developer, and he's been doing it for 20, 30 years. And if my job is not to destroy him as a competitor. My job is to create a house that's innovative to where he wants to learn how to do what I'm doing. It's not to basically to destroy his business. I believe that. So what's next and how to jumpstart that is not looking for avenues to just destroy other people's business. It's kind of how we can innovate, how we can grow together, how can we do this together and build bigger, So my next moves, man, and jumpstarting is definitely how to just partner up with people to grow and not destroy my competition, and not try to get up early in the morning at 4 o'clock in the morning and try to do it. Yeah. So even on this Zoom call, man, it kind of got me up too early. I'm meeting early at 6:30, 7 o'clock.
I feel that.
I'm normally up around 9, 10. You run a successful company, you can get up at 9 or 10 because there's nothing really moving at 4 o'clock in the morning,
Yeah.
You get up, walk around pacing because there's nothing moving at 4 o'clock. You're going to work out. But honestly, I want to ask most people this, and this is a question to ask you. How much money had you made between 4 o'clock and 9 o'clock that makes you get up that early?
I don't. There's no money made for me between that time.
Right. So most, if you're not making money moves, then you're making zero moves, right? Yep. So if it don't produce any income, then it becomes less. It becomes just a waste of opportunity, a waste of time. Because sleep is very important. I believe in getting 7 to 8 hours of sleep a day. For those who think that sleep is not important, sleep is very important to your body, to your mind, to refreshing it, to restarting it. It's very extremely important to have sleep to function, right? Most people don't sleep. Yeah. Most people just get up and they don't sleep at all. And I believe sleeping is very important. So I try to sleep in 7 to 8 hours a day, sometimes 6. But if I wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning, I'm only sleeping 3 to 4.
Oh yeah.
Man, how much great could I be? I'm drinking Monsters all day, energy drinks all day. My stress level is extremely high because I'm tired, I'm cranky. So sleep is very important, man. So that's kind of I even go down a rabbit hole, but sleep is very important.
No, I love that. I really love it because a lot of people be like, wake up at 3, wake up at 4, wake up at 5. And I like the idea of having an early morning to have some time to myself. But it's like when you own a business, you got like 1 p.m. to yourself, Right. So that's the one thing. But the other thing is a lot of people will be like efficient without being effective or busy without being effective. And so they'll be doing stuff for that whole 16, 18, 20 hours, but got no results to show for it. Yeah. And it's something to think about because
I know I work. So I learned this from the military, man. I learned this from the Marines. I was in the Marine Corps, and it wasn't about the difference between the Marine Corps and the Army, as far as PT wise, say physical health, was the Marines worked out 3 times a week: Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. The Army worked out every day of the week. They were just extremely no recovery time, no nothing. They just every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I was in both branches. They ran every day. Yep. And their bodies was different. Marine Corps, our bodies are chiseled. In the Army, the bodies are lazy and fat and sloppy. It's because they worked out every day, but they didn't work out efficiently. They didn't do targeted stream workout. They just worked out. They just ran. And the Marines, man, we worked Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And I learned that even in my business, my best hours, my peak hours is between 10 and 1. That's where I'm most effective. I don't have to work from 8 o'clock in the morning to 10 o'clock at night to run a successful company. You know, because now I have time with my kids, I have time with my wife. I work 10 and 1, and those are like effective moments where I can really concentrate on my business.
Yeah.
And I seen that it grew by doing that. Instead of working all these long hours and working all these long days, it grew faster by just working on those effective times. And not saying it works for everyone, but I think that like you said, people just work all day long and it's never nothing accomplished. They just working. They're spending their energy. You know, I remember you posted one time that I can't do these open houses like this because it's not producing value. It's not creating. I'm putting energy into this that's not producing. And a lot of times people keep knocking on that door and putting energy into something that's not producing. So I would just tell people, man, just take block times. Say, okay, I'm gonna do on my business. I'm gonna work 2 hours just hard as I can on this business for 2 hours, and then stop.
Yeah.
You know, I stop at 1 o'clock. If I have to go pick up a check from my lender and it's 2 o'clock, I'm gonna deliver that check the next day. I'm not gonna go out there to a vendor and say, okay, here go your check at past 2 o'clock. No, I'm gonna do it the next day because I promised myself I will stop at a certain time. Because it's not effective to keep going all day. You know.
I love it.
And that's how I maintain my mental well-being in this industry, you know. So, and that's how I keep my family happy. You know, I can't, you know, people say, well, you got to have balance. No, there's no balance in building a business. There's no balance in life. Balance is for people with no money, people with no ambition tell you to have balance. You know, people with broke always tell you to have balance. I hear people that don't have any money tell me to have balance. No, that's not balance what I'm doing. It's not balance. It's being intentional with my schedule. It's intentional with my time. Understanding data. You know, I'm a data junkie. So for this, I tried it for the first 2 weeks. I said, okay, we're going to do 2 weeks. I'm going to do this from 10 to 1 for 2 weeks and see what my production turned out to be. If it don't work, I'm going to increase it or decrease it. I'm going to figure it out. And I began to put that data in place. And man, it's just tremendously when I did that. So I'm all about data. I like to look at the science. I like to look at the numbers. I like to see what really worked and not just kind of, just swinging by the hip, you know, at things, you know. So that's kind of my mentality in time management and balance. There's no such thing as balance. Broke people tell you, oh, you got to have balance. I heard that all from my friends. And man, you got to have balance. But your income is showing me that you don't have balance. You have too much balance, really. My income showed me that you have too much balance. You know, I never miss my son's practice. He played the AU basketball. I never miss his practice. I never miss a game because I have not balance. My business is effective during this time frame.
Yeah.
Right. So in doing that, it allows me to go to every event. My wife want to have lunch and dinner. I'm able to do that because I've learned to put things from 10 to 1 is what I work on my business. So
love it.
Yeah, man.
All righty. Well, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. You got anything else you want to talk about before we head out?
I think in this space, man, we the time that we're in now is critical. I think people need to understand the times that we're in. A lot of times, we are dealing with, I would say, some of the hardest times of our lives, and with government, with control, and you know, I'm not a big conspiracy theorist. You know, I don't believe in conspiracy theories. I just look at data. I look at information, and I think most people need to take time to look at data before they jump out and be afraid and live in fear. They need to look at the science. And you know, you always hear, look at the science, look at the science. And they need to look at the data behind it. Like, go and do some research. and stop taking what the news say.
Yeah.
Do some research and figure out, okay, let's get to it. How bad is the Delta variant? How many people die behind it? Is this a fear tactic? Is this control mechanism? What are they talking about? Because the vaccinated and unvaccinated, it's like they building a wedge between people, and most people are going for the wedge. Most people are being divided on a subject that's very up to you, right? It's a personal choice. I'm not against vaccines or for vaccines. It's a personal choice. I believe it should be that way. I believe that once politics and once people got involved in the news, I believe that it separated people, masked and unmasked. I believe that people need to do their own homework. I believe people need to look at the opposite side of things. What fears me and what scares me about the state of the world we're in now is that the opposite opinion doesn't matter, right? So with COVID-19, the opposite opinion doesn't matter. It's one side. It's this or no way. It's this. You get this, or you don't get anything. Or it's and that's what what communism and Marxism and I'm a capitalist socialism does. It's one side of information and it squeezes out the other side.
Yeah.
If I'm a data-driven person and I only see one side data from what they want me to see, man, how do I navigate that? I need to be able to see the other side. I need to be able to see what other doctor says. I need to be able to see what's the side effects, what are other people are saying about something, instead of just taking this one hard angle towards it and telling me that I need to do this, do that without having a argument. And this is where censorship comes into effect. This is why people need to really not only do real estate and learn, but really understand the world that we live in and the dynamics of it, and how to navigate that, so that you can put your family in the best position, right? I can see the difference in politics and Republicans and Democrats by what you wear or what you're doing. Like, you can almost tell what side of the fence people are on, whether they're conservative, whether they're liberal. And it's like this divide that America they doing, and people don't understand that the divide it's not only going to divide people, but it's going to divide wealthy and the poor.
Yep.
The wealthy is not concerned with. I talk to wealthy people all the time. I'm around wealthy people all the time. They're not concerned so much with COVID-19 or the pandemic. They thinking like, okay, what my business is going to do, what my family legacy going to be, how can this going to affect them? They're not really concerned with the day-to-day operations. Poor people are concerned with food prices and gas prices going up.
Yeah.
Wealthy people's not. They figuring out, how can I capitalize on the food prices and everything going up? What are my business going to look like? How, I'm going to actually, the consumer going to have to pay more for this product now. And how can I do that? How can I marginalize that? How can I make more money in this space? So, man, that's kind of where I'm at. I think people just need to do their homework, their own studies before they take people's advice, the talking heads advice, the one-sided lean this way advice, and kind of just figure out how to separate and how to make decisions on their own. Remove the government as much as possible out your life, personal life. They've been invading our lives for the last 18 months. Get them out of your life. They don't know what's best for you. You know what's best for you. You know what's best for your body. You know what's best for your life. I think all this other things that they know what's best for you. They know what's. I heard there's a quote I don't remember who said the quote, but it says that if the government ever tell you that we're here to help, they're not here to help. The government never been around to help you.
Yeah.
I believe people need to get their power back as well. They need to understand that every elected official is elected by the people.
Yep.
We pay their salary. That means they work for us. They work for us. We don't work for them. And if people understood that and took their control back and took their power back, our world wouldn't be divided. Our states, our country wouldn't be divided as it is now, because we'll know you work for us. You do what we tell you to do, or you get fired. And like, don't stand for them closing your school or closing a business down. Don't stand for them telling your kids they got to work certain things when they work for you. You know, people don't understand the power in they work for you. We don't work for them. They don't control us. What's happening in Washington, D.C., they don't control us. Matter of fact, you ain't doing your job, get fired. Just like an employee that worked for me. If a contractor's not doing his job, right, he's fired. I'll move on to the next guy.
Yeah.
And that's how they need to do politics. You need to be firing people instead of just saying, hey, dude, you can do whatever you want to do to me. You know, and people throw their hands on me like, oh man, they know more than me. They smarter than me. Really, they're not. You have the opportunity to fire them. And I think people should be fired. They should have been fired a year ago, a year and a half ago, when they closed all these businesses down. They closed the country.
Yep.
You know, I met my wife at Steinmart. My wife worked at Steinmart. It's a clothing store. And 18 years ago, I met her there. And that business is done. It's been around for 30 years, and within a month of the pandemic, it closed down.
Yeah.
And, you know, these are long-time stable companies that closed because of people that we hired couldn't make decisions what's best for the country. They based it off their ideology, whatever control. I think it's really more control.
Yeah.
But you know, this is I read a book called what's the book called? I think this is a book that your people that's on the podcast need to hear. I know we're going longer than what expected. I mean, this book is called Fake.
Fake.
It's by Robert Kiyosaki. It's called Fake. It talks about the academic elites. You know, most people that's in politics, it's fake teachers, fake. It just talk about academic elites, fake gurus, fake. Everything in this world is almost fake. You know, it's fake money. That it's fake. And he talks about the fake money. He talks about money and how it rolls. But really, the fake teachers really got me, because our politicians, and Republican, Democrat, Independent, whatever, they went to certain Ivy League schools. They become the elite of the world, academic elites. And these academic elites, they have no idea how to run a successful business. They never ran a business before. They went from being a lawyer who's never actually ran a business, student loan debt, to getting into a politics position, and they never understood how to run a business. So you got the biggest business in the world ran by academic elites.
Yeah.
The United States is the biggest business in the world, and you got people that never ran a business running the country.
Yeah.
That baffles me.
Yeah.
I believe that every politician should be serving the military, learn how to serve their country, and they should actually ran a business before.
Yeah, no, I feel that. You don't hear that take off.
Those are two things that my requirements for a politician. If you ain't served in the military because you got to lay your life down for someone else, if you didn't do that, willing to lay your life down for someone else to serve your country, and if you didn't open up a business, because there's no way they should go in. Just look at it. They go in and they are negative $200,000 of student loan debt, and then 4 or 8 years, they worth millions of dollars when they will leave the White House. How's that possible without owning a business?
Yeah. Yeah.
How's that possible? Yeah. That means they're doing some background.
Yeah.
That don't have anything to do with you. That's not affecting you, right? They went to Harvard. They went to Yale. They learned the lobbyists. They learned how to get and just, man, that's the research. That's what I'm talking about. Data, understanding the other side of politics, understanding the other side of this, so you'll know how to move next. You know, I think that's what people need to do next, is figuring out the other side of this and read books on that, and not just take what they're saying as valid information, because at the end of the day, like I said before, they work for you. You don't work for them.
For sure.
Like when they threaten to shut the country down, you need a revolt, you need a revolution, you need to stand up and say, no, you fired. And I have to fire you every 2 years until I get the right person in.
Yeah.
That's going to fight for what I believe in and what I want and what I need. Because really, do they really care about your families? At the end of the day, you know? But man, we need some business people in the office, man. We need some business people to run for politics. I mean, I would run, but man, I got a bad background. You know, I ain't just,
Gotcha.
I'm not a clean cut entrepreneur, you know, clean cut businessman. You know, I had a record, I have things on my checkered past. So, you know, I ain't always being this clean cut guy. They go ask friends and stuff what I did back in my past, it would be devastating.
Yeah. Yep.
So, it'd be devastating. So no, I couldn't run for office, man, especially. But I believe that people that run businesses successful, that serve their country, need to run for office because they'll put country first. They'll put their family first, country first, and then business. They'll understand the dynamics of that. They understand balance books. They understand debt. They understand how to run the biggest business in the world. They understand imports and exports. They understand buying goods. They understand how to balance a book, budgeting, where to spend money, where to save money, where to invest money. All those different things taken into account when you're running a successful business. And man, we got yahoos in Washington that never run a business.
Yeah.
And they come out millionaires, you know, like, you never ran a business. How do you become a millionaire without running a business? Where did you get that money from?
Yeah. Hey, beats me.
I'm sorry, I ain't mean to go down a rabbit hole with that one, man.
Oh, nice. Dude, bringing up stuff I've never thought about, so I appreciate it.
You know. So the next time people ask me what's going on in the country, I'm like, man, stop looking at the news. Because the news is going to tell you what they want to tell you. It's a narrative they push it, you know. I remember last year, I'm going to leave after this. I remember last year, my birthday, and my wife had this big plan for me, and the narrative on the news was Black people are being shot by the cops, or we've been targeted by the cops. And I'm a Black man, so I have my run-ins with the law, but I'm very respectful. You know, I never disrespected a law enforcement officer that pulled me over. I'm gonna have to teach my kids. I don't teach my kids to be afraid. I say, okay, you respect authority, all authority, whether it's me, whether it's the mailman, whether it's someone that's older than you, your brother that's older than you. You respect their authority. You know, your uncles. You respect all authority, not just cops. And so the narrative last year was pushing that Black men or Black women or Black people were oppressed. I think that was the false narrative, because there were people that was telling us that we was oppressed, that was billionaires. And like, I seen an interview with 2 millionaires talking about how oppressed we were in the United States, and they're millionaires. So I'm like,
Yep.
Professional athletes talking about how oppressed we are. The cops are targeting us, and then you live in a gated community surrounded by cops. Like, dude, come on. That's a narrative that's been pushed to keep you down and not really keep you forward thinking and really progressive thinking and thinking of your family. They kind of want to tell you how oppressed you are, how much of a failure you are, or how much the odds are stacked against you, or some certain class of people is trying to hold you down. Or, man, but those people are successful. That's what academic elites. They are. I watched a former president and a former NFL player sit down and have an interview about oppression.
Yeah.
Black oppression, and they worth millions of dollars. You know what I'm saying? Like, how oppressed are you?
Facts.
You know? So I think that last year, man, my birthday, there was a riot going on in San Antonio. My wife had plans. There was people rioting. There was people tearing up buildings and destroying property. And I think the narrative got pushed is that we were oppressed and we need to fight back. by a bunch of millionaires telling them that we oppressed.
Yeah.
Like, nah, man, we're not oppressed. You know, I've been to countries where they were oppression, where there was under dictatorship, where they, let me ask you, why would people want to come to this country illegally if we was an oppressed country?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
why
man.
would they want to come here illegally if we was oppressed? Why would they fleeing their country if we oppressed the United States? Right?
Oh, yeah.
They wouldn't come. They wouldn't want to come here if we oppressed. Like,
It's yeah.
that's a backwards way of thinking, right? People don't wake up and think differently. Like, go to Iraq. I've been to Iraq, man, and Kuwait, and these are third world countries where people are trying to leave because of the oppression. They truly oppressed. They can't believe what they want to believe. They can't drive where they want to go. They can't get in a car and leave where they want to go. They can't eat what they want to eat. Everything is handed to them. That's oppression, right?
Yeah.
And they run to America where we free to do whatever we want to do, get up at what time we want to get up, eat whatever we want to eat, take money out of our account, spend whatever we want to spend, pay whatever amount of taxes we want to pay, but we're oppressed here. No, they come here because they want to be free and have an opportunity.
Yeah.
Land of the free. You know what I mean? So that's my big thing, man. If people just take that and move on that, they wouldn't have to sit around here thinking they're oppressed. Ain't nobody holding you back. You hold yourself back. And turn the TV off and pick up a book.
Yeah. No, straight up. Straight up.
Read. So, man, that's my rant, man. That's my rant for the day. I got at least get one rant in a day. That's what I get one rant in a day. She be riding in the car. She be like, "Oh, there go your rant. Here it comes." The one rant in a day.
I loved it. Honestly, it was good. And you know, it's like you said like it was off topic, but when you think about it, it's really not, because this whole like living your dreams thing, it's that getting educated, thinking for yourself, and being able to take that action, and it incorporates all of this stuff. And so,
yeah,
people needed to hear it. People needed to hear it.
Hey, man, I appreciate the opportunity, man. Yeah, I'm gonna scream this. I at least get one rant in a day. I'm a rant a day. I do it.
Yeah,
I do it all the time. One rant a day.
Yeah,
it never a day never goes by where I don't get one rant. So I hear something on the news, and I'm like, that they lying. I'm gonna tell you why they lying. The data here. You know, I'm gonna tell you real quick. Before we go, man. I always say that real quick because I'm like a preacher, man. I always say, "Oh, I'm gonna close out one more last time." I got one more thing to say. Hold on. You're gonna go home. I know it's 1:30. I know it's 2:00. I know you're hungry, but I got one more thing to say. It'll be 30 minutes later. You'll be like, "Can I go home?"
Oh yeah, let me go.
So I got one more. I was in an office yesterday with a plumber, one of my plumbing companies that I hired to do my work, my utilities on my houses and my groundwork on my houses, and they do an awesome job, right? And we was in there talking. One of the guys had COVID-19. He was like, "Man, I got COVID, man. I had COVID for like a week. It really bad." And I was like, "Okay, man, that's horrible, man." And he's like, "Man, I don't even know what happened. We worked in this office for 2 years, no mask. We were a family-oriented environment." And then the owner came in, and he was so down on himself because we was talking, and he looked at me. He said, "Man, Dante, man, I did something really bad a couple of months ago." I said, "What you do?" I said, "What was so bad that you did a couple of months ago?" "Oh, man, I went and got the shot." I said, "You went and got the shot?" He's like, "Yeah, but it made everybody in my office sick." He said, "I don't understand what happened." I said, "Well, I'll tell you what happened. Because I'm in the military. I got every shot you can think of. You actually carry the strand in your body. You're you tote the strand. You carrying the strand. You're the one that everyone should be away from, because if they're not, then they're susceptible to the strand that you carry. So you're carrying the virus in your body at all times."
Oh yeah.
And the person over here who's not is not carrying anything. So if he's not carrying it, then he's more likely to get it from you. So if 160 million people got jabbed in the left arm or the right arm, and we wonder why we have an outrage, it's because they actually carrying the strand that's outbreaking everyone else. They're actually the super spreaders. I just want to throw that out there. It's not. And he felt so bad because he was like, we've been here for 2 years and nobody was sick. And now they're getting it. And it's my fault because I'm the one giving it to them. He said, now that's what the news ain't telling me. And that's what people need to know.
Yeah.
It's told that if you don't get the jab, you're not a community player. You're not a good neighbor. You're not being a good neighbor, but you really are being a bad neighbor once you get it. Because now you're carrying the strand and wondering why it's mutating. It's because it mutates in the body. You know, all vaccines mutates in the body. This is why flu shots are a year behind. You know, you get the flu shot today or this year, it's for last year flu season. The flu mutates every year. So if it mutates every year, then you're always playing behind. You know, you ain't gonna never catch up. And science and medical is always behind. You never know. You never notice that they never ahead of anything.
Yeah, dude. If I'm being honest, I didn't get the flu shot my whole life.
Right.
And never got the flu. I mean, I was fine, but I never understood the flu shot and stuff.
They always behind. It's always behind. Medical science is always behind. It's never forward leaning in medical. It's always something got to happen. We take that data and we try to create medical science to help someone during the process of doing that. They never ahead of the times. It's always catch up. Yeah. In medical field, it's always catch up. So you got to stay ahead of that. So how do you combat that? You eat healthy, you exercise, you go outside, you do everything they tell you not to do. Do the opposite. If they tell you to stay in the house, eat fast food, get fat, get sick, get diabetes, do the opposite. Because there's something that they're not telling you. They're not telling you to go outside. They're not telling you to exercise. They're not telling you to eat healthy. Vegetables are not cheaper. Vegetables are actually more expensive. So if they really cared about your health, they would tell you to exercise and do everything they possibly can so you stay healthy. Yeah. Instead of stay in the house and get fat. And then you got everything COVID love. Yeah. COVID love a sick body. COVID love an overweight body. COVID love, it loves that. It feeds off of it. Like the flu. Flu feeds off people that are overweight, don't take care of themselves, that diabetics or they got all kind of things going on in their body because they didn't take care of it. Oh yeah, all diseases love that. It's a playground for diseases. They go in there and they have a party in your body because you got everything that they love. It's set up for you, right? So that's it, man. I'm done. I ain't got nothing else. I'm done. I'm done.
Well, all right, man. Thanks for coming on the podcast. Thanks for sharing your knowledge and your wisdom with us. Yeah, we appreciate you. Appreciate your thoughts. Appreciate your just approach towards life. It's good. Yeah. Educate yourself. Think for yourself.
Yeah, that's it, man. Yes, sir. Hey, I appreciate having me on. Have me on again, man. In about another couple of months, I'll probably have a different subject I'm gonna rant about. So who knows?
Yeah. You can come back on. On. But all right, man. Thanks for coming on the show. And I think we're gonna close it out now.
I appreciate it, man. Thanks. Have a good one.
Yeah, you too.